Now at 5, as Portland grapples with widespread homelessness, so is Oregon's second largest city. And tonight, leaders in Salem are apologizing for poor outreach efforts after announcing a new site for a micro-shelter village. It is 5 o'clock. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Elizabeth Din. We sent Elise Haas to ask the tough questions about the public outcry that then followed and what progress the city has made in fixing it. Elise?
The city of Salem is telling me that they have been making steps towards the solutions that they had promised for homelessness, but that they are met with some resistance from residents. The city of Salem is taking a different and urgent approach to their homeless crisis, promising another micro-shelter community like 2 others already operating in North Salem.
There's just so many unanswered questions, and they show up at these meetings and they just deflect.
But residents in West Salem say communication was non-existent before the city recently announced this latest proposed lot along Wallace Road, right next door to where they live. There are community members or advocates who say that the communication was lacking, considering the fact that there is so much pushback. You know, what do you have to say to that kind of response from people?
I do apologize for anybody that we needed to talk with that we didn't get a chance to do.
The city of Salem's homeless liaison, Gretchen Bennett, admitted they are working through a learning curve, trying to balance homeless demands and community concerns. She says this is the only city-owned property that's unused.
For some of them, they came here because they were looking to break their addiction. For some, they were living out in the camps.
Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the Union Gospel Mission says nearly 80 men are now receiving addiction recovery services and shelter at their newly opened location, but that their nearly 300-person nightly shelter is capped at half capacity due to COVID.
The quality of the sheltering this year I worry a little bit about, and I'm thankful that the city has really put a lot of resources into doing more.
Homeless advocate Jimmy Jones explains the biggest issue right now is money. There's $25 million in sheltering reserve that Salem desperately needs to get out ahead of the winter to make up for the steep budget cuts during the legislative session. While some progress has been made in Salem, advocates say there's a great deal of work to do. So this is currently the site that the city is trying to assess for a feasibility study, basically trying to figure out what is even possible to put here. And they say that this is the only site right now in West Salem that's on the table, but that if residents do have ideas for other locations in the West Ward, that they're open to hearing and looking into them. Live in Salem, Elise Haas, KOIN 6 News.